So welcome to our FileHold RMS Network Hub, basically the FileHold Resource Management Network Hub, that Center for Intellectual Excellence, through the support of the Canadian government, was able to implement fully and provide services for SMEs, non-profits and charities within Alberta. So I will just give you a quick overview of what the secured environment is able to do with this project. So first of all, we have two hosting sites. We have the on-prem, which is the on-premises hosting site, and then we have our cloud version. The cloud version is hosted by Azure, but then the on-prem is where we need the server. That is where we have built our servers to host the FileHold software. So as you can see, this is our server 2019 server that we have built that holds the FileHold software. That is the server that we needed for the on-prem version. So we have our 2019's Windows Server 2019 here, and then we also have the SQL Server also embedded into the Microsoft Windows Server. So these are the two components that we needed to be able to build the on-premises FileHold record management software. So I will take you to the FileHold record management software for you to have a feel of what the software does and how secure it is to prevent cyber attacks from accessing people's data, and that is the objective of this project. So now we'll go to the FileHold record management environment for you to see what the software does. As I said, we have the desktop version and we have the cloud version. So I'll begin by giving you a feel about the desktop version. So this is the desktop version. And with the desktop version, as you can see, is built on the server, the 2019 server, and then the SQL server as well. So we have the desktop version. So what we do is, when a charity organization, a non-profit, or an SME decide to subscribe to the service, they have their own tenant within the server, or within the cloud. So in this way, they can build their own files and store their own files securely without nobody knowing what the content of the file that is stored in this tenant. So all we as an organization will do is to make sure that the environment is secured. That is, where the files are saved is secured. So with the FileHold record management system, with the desktop version, which is the on-prem version, you have the same layout structure just like the cloud. So I'm explaining the desktop version first before I go to the cloud. So in this case, you have your inboxes where people can send you files and stuff, and then based on that, you will get notification in your emails saying that a file has been sent to you, or you need to review a particular file. So it is embedded with a workflow structure where you can set up your triggers, what the content is, what should trigger what, who should approve what document. So here, if you go to first where we store the document, we have, this is an example. So for CFI, when we go to our finances, so the idea is you have your library, just like the concept that we have. You have your library, you have your cabinet, secured cabinet, you have your folders, and within the folder, you can build so many files. So this an example, we have two files built in there, which is the finances and then the HR document. And here you can see we have a whole lot of files that are stored here. The test schema is here, and then the status is here. So with the status, it tells you what to know, whether if it is checked in or checked out. Checked in or checked out meaning that whether if it is waiting for any approval or process, whether if it has been approved or it has been rejected. So you have all the files here secured in a secured environment where it would be very difficult for any threat actor out there to really penetrate this secured environment. So we have the files, we have the HR document, which is also an example. You can save as many files as possible. All you need is a scanner to scan all the paper documents. But digital documents, once you have subscribed to the FileHold network, once it's a digital document, it automatically comes into your folder or wherever you choose that the files should be stored, it will automatically come in. So we have chosen that all these digital files comes to the HR document. It just comes into the HR document. Here we have like CFI, we have another cabinet where we store maybe videos. Basically, once you click on the videos, you will see some videos that have been stored in the video file. So this is where we have the storage. Now I'll walk you through the workflow. With the workflow, that is the same thing, reviews and approval. So meaning when somebody sends a document, it can trigger based on the workflow who should approve the document. If it's supposed to be a manager who is supposed to review it, to approve it, you can do all those in a secured environment right from the software. So with the workflow, an example, here you can add, maybe create a workflow, and once you create the workflow, it will tell you the when the work comes in, who is supposed to do what. It will trigger what workflow you have started. So I'll give you an example. So when you go to the workflow status, you will see directly what the workflow status is. So you have a couple of documents, whether the status is pending approval, whether if it's been approved or it's pending approval or it's been rejected. You will see it all here. And if it is rejected, it will trigger an email that will be sent to the person's inbox for the person to know that the report or whatever file that you're waiting for, the report has been rejected or it has been approved. So all this is done in the secured environment where we protect all these documents right from the on-prem FileHold software. Now I'll walk you through to the cloud version. So with the cloud version, it's the same structure, but the interface is different. The GUI is different. The graphic user interface is a bit different. So when you look at the cloud version, you can access this from anywhere in the world as long as you have an internet. Once you log on to the internet and you access it, this environment itself is secured. So whether if it is whether you are accessing it from an unsecured environment, as long as you get into this environment, which is this files, everything is secured. So it is very difficult for anybody to penetrate this FileHold system. So with the cloud environment, that's the same thing, the same layout structure. It's just the graphic user interface that is much more different. The workflows are the same. So you see restart workflow, cancel workflow, rename workflow, clear workflow. So you can set your own workflow, and whenever a document comes, it triggers an action. Pending approval, approved, it triggers an action. So this is just a brief view, highlight of what the FileHold record management system network hub is able to do for these non-profits. So we are providing these services to most non-profits, charities, and SMEs here in Alberta. And once they subscribe, they are able to get their own tenant and build their own layout structure and store their document securely. And that was the objective of what we intended to do with this project. So thank you for your time, and thank you for listening to me. This is just a quick overview of the FileHold record management system with the support of the Canadian government, which we really appreciate. And we are able to support Black-led organizations here in Alberta and give them the needed protection that they have for their data. Thank you for watching.